Okay, John Jones this past Saturday beat previously undefeated Dominic Reyes by unanimous decision to retain his light heavyweight title. So, Rob McLean, did the judges get it right?
Yeah. So for me, I personally felt that they got the decision correct, not the score, but the decision.
Yeah,
So yeah, for me, and a lot of people do say this too, and I'm not saying the scoring's right, but they do score the championship rounds heavier. You put out a higher output in certain rounds. I do think that certain rounds were debatable. Third, second. Reyes is a quick starter. He got his quick start. We were talking about this before the flight even
Oh
happened.
yeah, heck yeah.
Quick starter.
On the last episode of the podcast, Rob.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And I think Dana White kind of said it the best, where everybody expects that either guy is going to come through the fight and roll through. Then you're not really understanding the fight game.
No,
they
yeah.
both knew they were going in for a war, and however easy they talked on one another, they knew they were coming in there to fight and to have a great fight, and it was a great fight. I don't think that it was so decisive that Dominic Reyes should have won. I think it was really close. It could have gone either way, and it did go some way. And in my eyes, when it comes down to a championship like that, it has to be, you got to either put out the champ or you have to be no scratches and that guy is busted up, because judges just don't give away championships to challengers. It just doesn't happen. You don't give away, you got to take them. So that's just the way it is. That's the way I've seen it. So what do you got, Jay?
Rob McLean.
Mm-hmm.
You said a whole bunch of things in your little diatribe on this match, and I thought they were well thought out. Don't get me wrong, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But I have to start because I have to get this off my chest, and let's start where we're in a place where we agree. Whatever judge thought that John Jones won 4-1 needs to be fired, okay? For those of you guys that are watching the UFC and be like, oh, the UFC judges suck. I don't like to use the word casuals, but for the people that don't follow the sport as avidly and understand how it works, because that's also connected to what we're talking about, the judges are not assigned by the UFC. The judges are assigned by the athletic commission of whatever state is mediating and navigating that. This is Texas Athletic Commission. They assign the judges. The UFC doesn't get to even pick the referees. So they're the one that mediated, because it's a combat sport and it's for fighter safety. They're just trying to make sure that we're literally not the Wild Wild West. So don't blame Dana. Blame the Texas Athletic Commission, who today on a report said they were unapologetic, and they put out an article on why they came to the decision. But because they didn't say sorry, I didn't read the decision. I didn't read the story. All I wanted to hear was sorry first, and then we could read it. Now, with that being said, Rob McLean, it would be nice to say that John Jones finished strong. He did. It would be nice to say that the champion won the championship rounds in convincing fashion. He did. It'd be nice to go back to those pride days where, like, if there was a 6th round and discuss the hypothetical, like if John Jones won, if there was a 6, he probably would have finished him. He might have. But that is not how the rules of mixed martial arts works. Dominic Reyes, I believe, strongly won the first 3 rounds. There might be a dispute on I think one of the judges gave Jones the 2nd round. The other judge gave Jones the 3rd round, and that's how they came to their 3-2. The 4-1 we're just not going to talk about anymore because we got that off our chest. If someone wins the first 3 rounds, mixed martial arts is scored by the rounds. So unless we're going to make an argument that round 4 or 5 was a 10-8 John Jones, which one of my peers brought up, which I adamantly disagree with, because if someone tags you back, it's not a 10-8 round. If you take someone down and you start elbowing him and then eventually he gets up, yeah, get the 10 in. But 10-8, John Jones took him down, which counts as points. The guys got back up, which means John Jones wins those rounds. But I will not make theological leap to 10-8. My opinion, I believe this man won the first 3 rounds. It is also my opinion, and this is where I think, Rob, you're going to agree with me. I don't think he got robbed. Rob, don't think he got robbed. Okay. I don't think anyone got screwed. I think one of the rounds, I give probably round 2, where he was ahead, and then John Jones started tagging him. If you look at this, I'm going to show you the strike stats. You can take a look at that while I'm done rambling. You will see a stat that has head strikes, leg strikes, and all that stuff. I'll leave it right there. Miranda, if you can, I don't know if you can find this or pull this up at some point while we're discussing this. Where is it? There's head, body, or whatever, and they have all the strikes by the round. Yes, so it is my opinion. If I were a judge, I would say Reyes won the first 2 rounds and is dominant, as John Jones was the last 4 and 5 rounds. Who looked like the real winner? Who looked like the winner? John Jones. But by the rules of mixed martial arts, who won that match? I have to say, and I have to put my foot down, I have to say Dominic Reyes.
Hey, man. Definitely agree to disagree.
Yeah. It's a good discussion, though, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I mean...
So while she's
man.
looking for it, let's talk about something else. What do you think John Jones is where does he go from here? Does Dominic earn a rematch? Does John, who wants to be an active fighter, does he wait to see who wins between Stipe and Daniel? Which I think I gotta change that, because I think Stipe is hurt right now.
I think he's gonna go up into the heavyweight division just because he's a bit more limber. He can move around a bit more.
Yeah.
But my question to you would be,
Please.
do you think that John Jones is losing a step, or do you think he is falling off? Do you think that the rest of the division's catching up?
I think you mentioned something last week about him being safe, and I made the argument that I think that may be true, but I also think, because there's a bigger sample size on video and his tendencies and what he likes to do, I think in this world where coaches who are not working a 9 to 5 at a law practice and doing this part-time, where coaches are doing this 24/7, I think just like the major sports, people smarten up. We're not going to use the Super Bowl as an example for smartening up, okay? Because that was just someone out thinking himself. I just think people smarten up. It's on UFC.com, so that's where you get it. So to answer your question, did John lose a step? I don't know, and there's no evidence to suggest he did. Could he have? Yes, but the evidence is not there because nobody tested him. But I will tell you this. And I suspected this all along. The dude has a chin. Rob McLean, he got jacked up and still kept
that uppercut. Ooh,
and still kept pushing the pace.
Right into the
Yeah. How much did it remind you a little bit of like Floyd, like just dominating the center of the ring, and he's taking hits, but he's pushing the pace.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Dominic Reyes was very tired by the end of the fight, like the 4th and 5th round, and this is why, and no one's really fought this idea is where, I think that John Jones could have lost the fight because of, he should have done more. I felt like, as a fan, he should have done more with what Dominic Reyes was giving him in the 4th and 5th.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know,
let's go.
That's where he's playing safe. You know, where he doesn't. I've never seen an offensive explosion from him in like 2-3 years. You know, it's always just tick tack, tick tack, tick tack. Like he never, and he talks about not like I wanted to finish somebody and I and I just didn't like get the chance to finish him, and you always look for the finish but you don't get it. I don't feel that anymore. You know,
right.
I don't feel that from him. He's just there's never a strike. There's never an actual thing that he does that's I feel like is going to knock somebody out. He may have the tools to do it. Mm-hmm. He may damage people, and that's what he does. He's damaged them.
And he will take his shots. Can you
exactly.
scroll up? I want to see.
But it's almost like he's
okay, a little more.
He's devolving into his wrestler mindset. You know what I mean? Where he's like, I could fall back in the wrestling, or it just I don't know. It just I feel like he's maybe got to break out of whatever. Maybe Jackson Wink box he's in and get to a different mindset, just open up his game again, because he just looks very stiff and very over calculated,
Right.
right? Like,
And that's what raised the question in the first place, right? Yeah. Oh, it makes complete sense, Rob. Yeah, for me, once again, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but I think his leg kicks and body kicks and his dexterity, as far as that concerned,
crisp and clean.
looks nice. His striking, like what did Rampage Jackson said, he couldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. So he's never been one for this knockout power, though. If he does catch someone, his ability to rain down on people, rain down the elbows, and like he did to Daniel Cormier.
Well, I just think there's a technical ability to any sport, and then there's like what you'll actually put into it. You know, because you could swing perfectly in volleyball, but if you don't put 100% into your swing, it doesn't matter. They're still going to be able to dig the ball.
Agreed.
So, you know, the same thing with the punch. Like Thiago Santos puts in 100%.
Yeah, but by that rationale, volleyball, sometimes your technique and your contact, maybe your swing starts slow and it speeds up. Is it one of those things where John, his technique gets stronger as the match goes? The answer is no. It's the same. It's a flat line.
And that's why we're talking about it, because it's not something that improves or evolves.
Yeah.
It's something that, you know, he's basically making stay still, because nothing stays still.
Yeah.
But he looks the same in the fights, so that means he's forcibly making it happen.
I mean, Rob, if he goes to the heavyweight division, you're going to see a lot more of his wrestling. I know, and it's highly underrated. That man's the JUCO champ. You know what I'm saying? He's taken down Cormier. He's taken down Chael Sonnen. He's really good, man.
That's why I would love to have seen him go offensively on the ground a bit more in some of his fights. Even in Thiago Santos fight, like just being more aggressive on your ground game to set up all the things you can do on your feet. You know.
Agreed. Yeah, that man. So. So I guess your answer is right now is you're saying that he might just get his next match. His next match might be heavyweight, right?
I think he has to. I think he has to find something different because these guys are going to catch him.
Yeah. Yeah, because Derek Lewis, I mean, I know he's got a chin, but no one want to find out if Derek Lewis hits you, which, by the way, I think is a match that John can take to the ground.
Exactly.
He ain't gonna find out. Like Daniel Cormier, when he fought Lewis, he got rocked by one of them shots. Yeah, he ain't want to find out. Anthony Rumble Johnson, like he hit Daniel Cormier so hard, I thought Daniel Cormier got shifted to a different weight class. I was like, he's gonna fight Mighty Mouse next after this. What's up?
Stipe, when he fought Ngannou, like he got cracked one time, and then he's like, I'm just gonna put my hand on the back of his neck and keep him on the ground, because if I get hit by one of those fridges, he's got a fridge. The
smartest way I've ever seen someone fight Ngannou. The smartest way out of all of his matches, Derek Lewis, and I don't even people remember that Derek Lewis fought
Ngannou. I just forgot about it until you brought it up.
I'm sorry, because we're supposed to wash those things from our memory.
That's probably the most feints without a punch in a fight I've ever seen in my whole life.
No, oh my God. Ah, jeez.
Nobody wanted to swing on that one.
Yeah, so with Stipe hurt right now, and Jones wanting to stay active, and with other fighters, like Johnny Walker lost a bad one. Johnny Walker looked like he was on his way up until, do you think if he stays at 205, he'll fight Corey Anderson?
Who's that, Jones?
Yeah. Corey's looking good right now, dude.
I know. I really like Corey Anderson.
Me too.
Because
he also has an axe to grind too.
That's what I mean. And he's a wrestler as well, a really good wrestler. A guy who won a lot of his fights in the beginning by wrestling and just beating people up, which is what I'm telling you is like what John Jones needs. And I'm not saying that Jones, for me, John Jones is a fantastic defense, like a standing defense to get to the ground. I really haven't seen much of his ground game in the UFC. He may be a JUCO champion, but look at Ben Askren. You know what I mean?
My God.
Look at and there's nothing against all these wrestlers, but the MMA forces you to evolve from that person. So it's great to have that as your base, as your starter.
Yep.
There's a reason for that, but you're not doing that anymore, you know? So it's like, if you don't do that same stuff all the time, you're going to lose it. And I think,
well, I mean, Rob McLean. And these days, you're not gonna find someone you're gonna find someone like Askren or whatever that has a strong suit in wrestling. But as far as complete fighters are concerned, there's just too many of them.
There's too many.
And it was only a matter of time before Askren ran into a complete fighter.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Honestly, he should have gotten that. They could have easily stopped that fight against Lawler. He could have been 0. He's 1-2 in the UFC. He could have been 0-3 right now.
Let me tell you this: if Masvidal happened before Lawler, and then he was getting ragdolled like that in Lawler, they would have stopped that fight.
Yeah.
But because Ben Askren had never seen that type of stuff before, they let it roll, and he got back and blah blah blah. But if he had gotten just 5 seconds by Masvidal and then came back, and then that's how that fight looked, they would have stopped that fight. When he got dropped on his head. Because he was getting dropped on his head, and then he was getting...
Oh, Lord. Oh, good Lord. So... here's my opinion. If he stays in 205, I think he fights Corey Anderson. When the Athletic Commission refused to give him his license because of the picogram thing, they moved. Dana spoiled John Jones to death, and he moved the fight to California in 6 days. And Corey Anderson, had to move his whole family, not just that, relatives who paid for hotels. So even though he got compensated, his family members and close friends had to basically either not go or pay their way again to California. So it's just like, there is, maybe there's some envy there or some tension and some frustration that came from that, which is like, where Corey's like, man, I would love to fight this dude right now. So it's that. So I say if he goes to heavyweight, he's going to want to fight soon, and it'll probably be Cormier 3. Because Cormier is healthy right now, and he's not going to want to wait around for Stipe either. Yep.
Hey, man.
How we feel? How we feel about that? Wrap that up. Check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify, and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.